Many runners are familiar with chin scraper. When we first did this race, we were not able to use chin scraper. And it's called chin scraper because it's a section right along the main trail there that just goes super steep, so steep that they say you scrape your chin on it. Well, up until this year, we've always had to turn right at the campsite and dip down and do a loop and come up the ridge and do some bouldering. It was interesting for us to find out this year that the Forest Service is having us go back to using chin scraper.
Welcome back to the next aid station. I am your host, Jake Kilgore, co-host Mick Garrison. Today is Tuesday, July 30th. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for listening. What's up, Mick?
What's up, dude?
Today we have a very special show. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see Mick's DC Peak shirt, my Rockstar shirt, coming in live with our two biggest sponsors. And today's episode is going to focus on this year, 2024 DC Peaks. We're going to break down each aid station, the segments in between each aid station. So to kick off today's episode, I think it's only appropriate, because it is DC Peaks focused, that we draft and recap our 5 favorite moments and memories of DC Peaks. So I'll do 5, Mick will do 5. I believe you got the first pick last time.
I did.
On the Olympic version.
Yep.
Okay, because you took basketball.
Correct.
Okay, great. With this year's pick in the DC Peaks draft of memories in the memory bank, we went, let's see, it's been about 5 or 6 years since we started designing the course.
Yep.
And the mapping it out and all this time with U.S. Forest Service. There's a lot of memories there.
I'm sure you're gonna pick when I was the first finisher of the race. Thank you, buddy.
I'm going to pick Mick running the DC Peaks 41.
Oh, that is a whole nother thing.
That's another memory.
We were wondering if we could do this race in July. So I'm like, well, I got to see what we're asking someone to do. Picked a day. It was 101 degrees.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, well, I'm running through some trees, but there's sun right over the top. There's no shade. So I think I ran a stretch coming up to Bountiful Peak, right? And down, at that time, down Temple Ridge.
Yep.
22 miles straight, no shade.
No aid station.
No.
It was just you.
Yeah, I was like going to crawl into the bushes and just get out of the sun. Dude.
Instead, you crawled into my car that was parked at Bountiful Ridge parking lot, the Holbrook, whatever that trailhead is.
Holbrook Canyon.
Holbrook Canyon parking lot. You climbed into shotgun, blasted the AC.
You had just gone to Costco.
And I handed you like a 20-pound bag of ice, and you just bear hugged it on your chest.
Yeah, I almost died. I ran, so we call that the DC Peaks 41.
That's the DC Peaks 41.
So that, yeah, I went to Mueller after that, and I'm like, no, I'm going to die.
And you just tapped out at Mueller Park.
Yeah, I'm like, we're not doing this.
So Mick DNF the unofficial DC Peaks 50.
So then we dropped that stupid ass idea.
We are not racing in July. Yeah, so that was when the October Fall 50 was born.
Yes, and then I actually ran it was.
Then you ran the real one.
Yeah, and that was easier than the July
40,
one.
Yeah, the 40 miles.
Oh yeah.
Felt like 80 with no water and blistering sun. Okay, well, there's a whole memory we just gave away. We didn't even get to draft that memory.
No.
Okay.
No one was really a part of that.
That was just you.
Me and you, buddy.
Yeah.
Bree was there.
Bree was there. I think I brought you a banana and a Gatorade and a pack of ice from Chevron. Okay. With the first pick in this year's DC Peaks Memory Bank Draft, Jake selects the blister snow year. How do I not pick snow, number one? 2021, snow just puts us all over CNN and Fox News and the rescue capade.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm going to refresh your memory. So, obviously, with the first pick, I will take the snow year, but I'm not taking the actual snow and the events with the 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 rescue?
Search and rescue.
Search and rescue. Jeez. So search and rescue, that whole thing, that was great. But the real memory from 2021 that I'm taking is the very next day, Sunday. Nearly every runner and all of their families came to Tunnel Springs Park. We had the finish line up. We had everything up, and every runner and their family got to share their experience with each other and bond over this moment that could have ended really bad, that ended with great memories, and everybody got their sunglasses as their finishing medals for finishing the snow blizzard year of 2021 DC Peaks.
Yeah, that was a fantastic little follow-up event. You know what else they got besides their glasses?
What?
Hugs.
Hugs.
We gave every runner a hug.
Everyone got a big old hug. A lot of tears shed that day, actually.
I would like to point out we had 87 runners that were in the snow year. The following year, 82 of those 87 signed up to do it again.
Okay.
That's something.
So they had a great experience. We'll try to replicate that one year.
Some of the runners came over to my house that night.
A handful of them.
Yeah, a bunch of people. There was like 20. And they're like, that was fun. That was
not what I signed up for, but we made some out
not
of
what
it.
the media made it out to be.
True.
Okay, with my number one pick, I'm going to take leader of the race, Jace Nye, bombing down zigzag, catches a toe, breaks his nose, smashes his head open, has to go to the hospital, stitches all down his head, on his nose. For me, I was at the finish line and I was like, I'm going to go over to zigzag to that aid station and just see if I can get some live footage. We're streaming the race. I got the login. I'm getting some video. I get over there. I park. I climb up to the aid station a little bit. 30 seconds later, Jace Nye comes down off of the trail, turns left onto the shoreline, and he's standing there with his shirt. And I'm like, I don't want to be like media guy, but I'm like
But you
right
were.
in his face.
But you were.
Right in his
How do you
face
feel right now?
recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. And he went to the hospital. He got fixed up, and then he came to the finish line.
And didn't he sign up the next year?
Yes, he did.
And he has a tombstone.
Oh, yes.
Here lies, what does it say?
Here lies Jace Nye. So if you're running DC Peaks, when you come down zigzag, watch for the tombstone that says, here lies Jace Nye. Now you know why.
Busted face. Oh, great. Number one. That's your number one pick?
That's awesome.
Amazing. Okay. My number two pick in this year's DC Peaks draft of memories. I'm going to go to the throwback of, if you signed up for year one, you probably know this. The shirt Mick is wearing is not our original logo. That was born after year one. So I'm going to go with the memory of the logo change, because I think our logo is freaking awesome. And I love our logo change. So that's my number two pick of memories.
Yep, I remember that well. Okay.
If you don't know, here's a little Easter egg. The mountain profile is the exact profile on all trails of our race.
Yep.
But
There it is.
super cool.
Bountiful Peak, Francis. Okay, good. With my second pick, I am going to go back to, actually it was when Jace and I fell right at that aid station. Killian Korth passed him. Killian Korth from Colorado ends up leading the rest of the way in a very exciting race because Chepe almost caught him at Mueller. He does not catch him, and Killian Korth, with a half mile left, pops down out of Wild Rose to run on the road to the finish line. And you and I ran with him. Remember this?
Mm-hmm.
We ran with him, recording and chatting with him. He's hauling. And as we're running, he's calling us out.
Oh, yeah. It
we
fired him up.
Because we didn't pick him to podium on our pre-race predictions. and we're running. And he's like, he made a point to let us know, sup.
Yep. He
So-
said a little more than that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He's like, he wanted to prove us wrong, and he did.
He straight up said, I came here to prove you guys wrong.
Yep.
I got super motivated when I saw your guys' predictions. Because I think our predictions were Chepe, Jace Nye was in it. And
Was Jace?
yeah,
Did we pick Cody?
no, that was the next year. It'll come to me. I know who the other one was. Anyway, yeah, we didn't have him on our podium. So
That was a mistake, and he let us know.
that was a mistake.
So that was fun, running with him, and we got a good laugh out of that.
And now he's coming back for year number 2 this year. He will
is.
be there.
Yep. I don't think I'll make that mistake again. A little preview.
Just in case. Okay. With my number 3?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. With my number 3 pick, I'm going to go with. This is tough. For me, last year, my heart rate was racing when I found out that someone had pulled the flags between on the bottom of the Shoreline Trail. As you leave Centerville and head towards Mueller, a bunch of flags were pulled. And I hop in the truck with a volunteer. He is speeding across Bountiful Boulevard, gets pulled over and gets a speeding ticket. And I'm sitting in shotgun just like antsy, dying, knowing that my runners are potentially getting off course or missing markings. And anyway, he gets the ticket. We get over to Bountiful. I run backwards on the course a mile or two and then remark that for probably the next 100+ runners. I think a handful of runners got through there and made it because they had their All Trails map on their watch or their phone. But that was an intense moment for me, re-flagging, in the middle of the race.
Trail police guy.
Yeah.
Got to clean it up.
Yep.
Yes, I remember that well. Okay, good pick. For my third pick, I'm going to select when Jose Cruz, Chepe, our boy, slept in prior to the race, almost didn't come. I think he admitted that he only woke up and came to the race because it's us.
He would have offended us forever.
He's like, those are my friends. I'm not doing this. So we're like gonna hold the race up for a minute because I'm like, are you coming? He's like, yeah. He gets there with 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes to spare. We might have even held it up. I'm not sure. But he gets there, runs up to the start line. We're like, okay, let's go. We start the race. He's already warm from running up there and goes and takes second place.
Great.
That's a good memory.
Chepe sleeping in on race day.
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to take with my fourth pick. I just happen to be wearing the Rockstar shirt. And we just kind of back behind the scenes memory for our runners. But I thought 3 years ago, it was really freaking cool as a new race directors in a new race that Rockstar agreed to a multi-year deal sponsorship. That was our first real sponsorship, and they just came to the table with a multi-year deal, the blow-up arch, the swag, the drinks, their logos on our shirts. Like the shirts our runners get, every runner gets a DC Peak shirt with their logo on it, and the finish line pictures with Rockstar. I think it's freaking awesome, and we just signed another multi-year deal this month. So with my fourth pick, I'm taking Rockstar as our lead sponsor.
Yeah, they couldn't be better.
Yep.
Really. Thanks, Jen, for that. Okay. With my fourth pick, I'm going to go with Adam Loomis signing up at the last second last year, comes in, crushes the course record. He did this race in 7 hours and 41 minutes. And I saw him when those flags got pulled. Somebody pulled the flags. He didn't care. I talked to him. He's like, no, I got the GPX file. I'm good.
It didn't slow him down at all.
Pro's pro. He's like, I'm like, oh, I don't even think he cared if there were flags.
Yep.
crushed the course. And on top of that, when you interviewed him after, you said, what was one of the things that you would not change? He said, do not change your course. That course was awesome. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Tear.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam.
Nice. Adam's a stud. He freaking absolutely crushed it. We had discussed if a sub-8 was possible. Absolutely, it's possible. Later on the show, you will find out that I believe a sub-7 is possible at DC Peaks this coming year. You'll find out why. Stay tuned. With my number 5 pick, you taking Adam Loomis, obviously a last-minute sign-up. She had raced Wasatch 100, and then 4 weeks later was like, yeah, I think I'm good, and I'm going to win your race, and I'm going to set your course record. Liz Butler, my number 5 pick for setting the female course record in 2023.
Love that pick. Love Liz. Okay, with my 5th pick, I'm going to go behind the scenes a little bit as well. You'll recall, when we were creating the route, we went up with the U.S. Forest Service, got in our Can-Am, cruised.
Before it was rolled on the DC Peaks race?
Yeah.
Why wasn't that a memory?
That was my Can-Am.
That wasn't our memory. Someone else did it.
And it's a terrible memory. You're like, but Jace and I smashing his face and the snowstorm canceling the race, those aren't?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, those are fine.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
But,
Go on.
But my Can-Am being rolled is sensitive for me.
Yes.
No, we met them, the Forest Service, couple people, went up for 10 hours, I think. That scouted.
This is summer
They helped us
2019?
create this route.
Yeah.
I don't think that's common. They might over email, but to actually jump in the truck with you and drive up and go along the route and like that's really cool. We've had a great relationship with them since. But that's like a little behind the scenes.
I like that.
Great memory for me. Number 5 pick.
U.S. Forest Service.
U.S. Forest Service rolling with DC Peaks.
Very good. And I think that was summer 2020.
Yeah.
Okay. We were probably wearing masks in the Can-Am.
We were probably not. If you know me.
we were definitely not. All right. Awesome. That is a great draft. That was fun. Let's jump in, dude. This is DC Peaks. We are 60 days out from year number 4 of the DC Peaks 50. This is year number 2 of the DC Peaks 55K and year number 1 for the DC Peaks 25K. Today's podcast, we are only going to recap the 50 miler, and basically the 55K and 25K are doing sections of it, so it's easy.
Along the same course. Yeah.
Same course, same trails, same markings. Okay, so for the listeners, the 25K, just to keep it really simple, starts at aid station number 5 of the DC Peaks 50, which is Mueller Park Canyon, and it literally just takes the Mueller Park Trail and the new Bonneville Shoreline Trail over to the finish line. It's got 1 aid station and about 14 miles. So
closer to 15, and I think it's maybe the runner's favorite part of our whole route.
When people hit the finish line, they talk about that section the very most.
Yes, so the 25Kers get to experience that. That's a really cool 25K.
And that race, are we starting at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m.?
10 o'clock.
10 a.m., 25K at Mueller Park. There's a little LDS church right there. We'll start there and run your 15 miles of roughly 2,000, 2,500 vertical.
Yeah. See, like people would
it's
be
like
like,
rolling though.
Why you started so late? And I'm like, we have volunteers that are going to be there all day. So it's not just if that was the whole thing, maybe we would do like a 8 o'clock start.
Yeah, but 10 a.m. on a fall Saturday, that's amazing weather. Okay, so that's 25K. The 55K starts also at an LDS church in Centerville on the road, and then you climb up Parish Creek Trail, zigzag, all the way up to Bountiful Peak, which is about 4,500 or 5,000 feet. And then you just come right back down the exact same trail as the 50 miler. So again, you start at the church, in Centerville, run all the way up to Bountiful Peak, which is aid station 3, grab some water, grab a little something to eat, and then just bomb it back down and hit aid station 4 in Centerville, 5 in Mueller Park, 6 in Bountiful, and then run to the finish line.
Yep. 7 a.m. start for the 55Kers.
Perfect. Now, to the 50 miler. Mick, where are we starting and what time does the 50 miler start?
5 a.m. East Mountain Wilderness Park in Kaysville.
I always have to ask you that, so because I say it
Because
wrong.
you'll mess it up.
East
Hills.
Park Wilderness.
Yeah. East Mountain Wilderness Park. No change at the start, except for they created a new parking lot for us.
Well, we were a huge part of that. We had so many volunteers over there with shovels, digging it out.
Yeah,
My whole family's in asphalt. I got connections to get
That's
that
right.
thing paved.
that's right. So
You're
that's
welcome.
That's cool. So we will have a shuttle taking runners from the finish line, Tunnel Springs Park, 4 o'clock. They're leaving there. So you can leave your car there. It's waiting for you when you finish. Maybe you finish under 7 hours. Okay. So, 5 a.m. start, same place.
Okay. How about drop bags and pacers? Drop bags, pacers, crew. What's allowed?
So drop bags will be allowed 2 spots. The Y in Farmington Canyon, that's aid station number 2, around mile 20. So maybe if it's a little chilly in the morning, you got like a light jacket, whatever, you can drop it there. The second drop bag will be for Mueller Park. That's aid station number 5, around mile 37. And you can drop those off at, I don't know.
Drop what off at?
Hang on a second. Because we've always done it at the morning of the race.
Drop bags?
But if we're going to do it here and we get those big A-frame things, I kind of like them just bringing the drop bags here the day before.
Yes, we want drop bags the day before.
I like that.
Yes.
That's what we're for sure doing for the 200 miler, 100 miler.
Yep.
But so at packet pickup, which will be here, we'll have two
Yeah. So
tarps set up. One with aid station number 2, Farmington Canyon. One with Mueller Park. Number 5, aid station number 5. Bring your drop bags to packet pickup the day before the race. Okay.
So packet pickup will be we'll post the hours and details later, but it's in Farmington, Utah, right in the middle of our course where DC Peaks is headquartered. So we'll provide the address and time and date for all that, but it'll be the day before the race. So race date is October 5th, 5 a.m. Saturday this year. So packet pickup on the 4th in Farmington at our DC Peaks office, right by Lagoon. Excuse me. And we'll do the packet pickup, grab your bib, drop bag, all of that day before.
Yeah, fun little expo going on here.
Awesome.
That's gonna be a party.
Pacers and crew are allowed at?
Okay, so pacers are allowed starting at Zigzag, and that's mile 31. So in Centerville, go right up Parish Lane, all the way to the top. There's like a long curvy driveway on the left-hand side. Take that up there, and there's a dirt parking lot right there.
Details are in the runner's manual.
Yeah, the aid station is a quarter mile up to the south, just up the dirt road a little bit. Pacers allowed there. That's also the first place for crew, unless you want to come to the start line and cheer runners on at 5 a.m. You can also have pacers pick you up at Mueller Park, which is mile 37. And that is probably the best place for crew to go. It's in Bountiful, right up 1800 South, LDS Church at the mouth of Mueller Park Canyon. Huge parking lot. It's
Any vehicle can get there.
Yeah.
Any human can walk it. It's awesome.
Yeah. So if you want to come cheer the runners on, that's the best place.
Okay, great. So that's all the meat of some of the details there. I think let's run through the course details now. So East Mountain Wilderness Park at 5 a.m. up to Aid Station 1. Aid Station 1 is Francis Peak. What can the racers experience? What type of terrain, what type of vert are they going through from the start to Aid Station 1?
Yeah, it starts off with a super fun Bonneville shoreline rolling single track. It's really fun. It's a nice little warm up. Around mile 3, 4, you start to climb a little bit up the Great Western Trail, and then the climb is on. That's when you'll start your first big ascent up towards Thurston Peak. The Great Western Trail is a challenge. It's early, it's still cool. Runners are typically in a very, very good spot and have a lot of fun going up that section.
Anything new in that section they should know about?
This is
Funny you should ask.
this is interesting. Many runners are familiar with Chin Scraper. When we first did this race, we were not able to use Chin Scraper. And it's called Chin Scraper because it's a section right along the main trail there that just goes super steep, so steep that they say you scrape your chin on it. Well, up until this year, we've always had to turn right at the campsite and dip down and do a loop and come up the ridge and do some bouldering. Actually became kind of a pretty cool part of our race. So it was interesting for us to find out this year that the Forest Service is having us go back to using Chin Scraper. Isn't that something?
That is something. So everyone that's familiar with the area, if you're not, there's on your way to the campsite, right around mile 8.5, there's a fresh spring water. Grab some fresh water.
Best
it's
water.
amazing water. Hit the little pipe. It's literally on the trail. You can't miss it.
Did you say hit the pipe?
Hit the pipe. Hit the other pipe of water after that one.
Yeah, let's go.
And then you get to the campsite, and you're just going to go straight through the campsite. Instead of taking a hard right and getting into some bushwhacky kind of downhill jungle stuff that we went and did some trail work on last year, now you just go straight and hit some steepers on the chin.
It like now with this new route, you do just stay on the main trail.
Yep.
So,
and we believe that this will actually make the course at least 30 minutes faster. Hence why earlier I was like, I think an elite athlete could go sub 7 on the new course.
this will be part of the reason. I got a little love at the end.
We got something coming on Aid Station 6 on the end.
Yep.
So, okay, so after Chin Scraper, you stay on Great Western, beautiful, amazing single track, some of my favorite single track in our whole county. And you eventually climb up to Francis.
I mean, this section back here is the most backcountry feel of our race.
Yep.
And it's high country. It's beautiful. It's single track, like you said. And when you get to the first aid station around mile 15, you've done around 6,000 feet of climbing.
Done half the climbing.
Yeah, it's something.
You've done half the climbing. You've gone 15 miles. You approach some big, beautiful balls at Francis Peak. Just scooch right past the balls and hit the aid station.
Yep. We are moving the aid station
Below the balls.
So if you ran it last year,
You go.
if you ran it last year, we had it just past, like on the north side
North of the balls.
of the balls, and we're moving it to the big parking lot area south of the balls.
A lot easier to access.
Yeah, you got to have easy access to the balls.
Backdoor access right at the aid station.
Backdoor access, not so much. We want to move it up.
You can't be too far backdoor. You're in trouble.
Yeah, we're just
Find yourself in trouble.
move it up. Easier access to the balls.
Perfect. Then
That's a wrap.
that's the race. Okay, from Aid Station 1, Francis Peak, to Aid Station 2, Farmington Canyon, what can they expect?
This is a fast section. It's service road downhill. I mean, and it's pretty smooth too. It's not like it's bumpy, and you could drive a car on that section. So if you want to fly, you can. So I think the lead runners, this is a 5 mile little downhill section. Lead runners, I don't know. What do you think they do? Do this in the sixes?
Yep.
6
They're
minute
sub
mile?
7 minute for sure. So they're there in 40 minutes or less.
Yeah. And after all that climbing, and you get to the first aid station, you get some food, you get to hear those cowbells. It seems like people just rally and start to feel really good right there. Like the temperature's
Sun's
perfect.
up,
Yeah.
sun's in your face.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So just enjoy a nice little downhill cruiser.
5 miles, about 2,000 feet of descent, I think.
Yep. Down to the Y, pick up some pancakes and bacon, and say what's up to Nate. Nate will be our aid station captain there. And then when you leave there, do not continue down Farmington Canyon.
Nope.
If you do that, it's over. Just come down to my house.
Just come right to the building. We'll check you in here.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so definitely go up to Bountiful. We'll make sure there's signage and direction. It's very obvious to go that way, we would think.
And
so.
I would be very disappointed because everyone is going to have a GPX file downloaded.
Yes, they are.
So then you're headed up and all the way back up to Bountiful Peak,
Which is another 5 to 7. I think it's 6 or 7 miles.
I think it's actually just under 5 miles to get up there.
Okay.
And it's actually just under 2,000 feet of climbing as well.
Okay, so okay, great. So that is all service road, but it's awesome. Like you view the east side, the west side. You see all Davis County, Great Salt Lake. The views up there are awesome.
It's amazing.
On your way to
So
Bountiful.
let me put this into kind of perspective for our runners. At this time in the race, when I'm doing it, I'm middle of the pack guy. I ran some, and then I just get a nice little power hike going on. I just cruise up. You don't really need to stop. It's not like that, but I just power hiked it mostly. Run where I can. You're like more of a top 10-ish guy, faster, and you would probably run this section. So it's like it's right there.
What
The
some
lead-
people
the-
would
the-
refer to as douche grade.
I think like Mueller Park's douche grade. This is a little steeper than that.
A little more douchey.
It's a little more douchey.
Yeah, like you're
Like-
not even thinking about running.
Like this is a bitch grade. No, that would go the other way.
That would be like lower.
Yeah, lower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hiked most of it. You would probably run most of it. So that's just something to keep in mind.
So yeah, it's going to take you. Most runners are going to be a couple hours.
Yeah.
Getting up there.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's cool. You just
Okay.
get your groove on, get up there, and F45, our friends, will be waiting for you at the top with more food and drink and a nice party.
You know what I've noticed about our recap, Mick? No disrespect here, but you mentioned Nate at Aid Station 2 and F45 at Aid Station 3.
Oh,
You just going to leave out our boy Jance on the Aid Station 1?
well,
Jance is being promoted to Aid Station Captain this year after the dog care that he gave me in Tahoe.
yeah.
He
But this
took
is
care of my dogs.
it's a little punishment for rolling my Can-Am last week.
True. But by dogs, I
Not
mean
the
my
same
feet.
Can-Am we talked about. I mean, yes, the same Can-Am, not the same roll.
So,
This thing's been rolled twice.
So now we're just letting him know that the whole world know that he is the aid station captain, but he tipped your Can-Am.
Okay, tipped, not rolled.
Yeah, tipped it on its side.
Yeah, so everybody look for Jance.
If you know Jance Donahoe,
Yeah. He'll be the guy up at the top that tipped my Can-Am. It's going to be totally obvious.
it's that guy. He
Yeah.
looks like a guy that would tip a
Yeah.
Can-Am.
Yeah, you just roll up and you're like, what can I get you? I want to meet Jance.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Great. He's worldly renowned, famous.
He is a really good dude to have on your crew.
Bro, the best.
He was badass.
The best. He is invited to the Kodiak 100 to take care of my little dogs,
Yeah.
make sure my feet are good.
He really does a good job, and that's why we were like, yeah, dude, go Captain Francis Peak. He will take care of our runners.
And last night I was talking to him about crewing me on my 100-miler, and he was like, you need a good veterinarian because he takes care of my dogs.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yep.
We're going to offer that for all of our runners up at Francis Peak.
Yeah, if you guys need
Jance.
Yeah, if you guys need foot care, feet washed, scrub any dust and crap and rocks between your toes, Jance got great fingers for your toes. They're great.
Yep, he'll be up at the balls
with his fingers. Okay, this is a great recap. Are we going to make it through the whole recap? Okay, so we've made it to the F45 aid station number 3, Bountiful
Chloe,
Peak.
Brett, the crew, they're going to be up there. Yep.
Dude, they're so rad.
I love them.
F45 is awesome.
Yep.
They're a sponsor in their own right for DC Peaks.
Yeah, I love it because, you and I both go there, and it helps you with your running.
Yep.
Get
strength,
your
agility,
strength on.
core.
Uh-huh.
Yep. It's awesome. Okay. Now, where do they go from aid station 3 to 4?
Okay, so you'll just cruise down on the service road for a couple miles, getting ready for one of these signature sections of our race. You're going to have a hard right and go down the Parish Creek Trail. It's called Zigzag. And this is a 5-mile bomb. I mean, this section is fun. I feel like you get a bunch of different runs in one section.
It's about 1.5 miles or 2 from Bountiful Peak to the turnoff.
To the top, yeah. I think it's closer to 2.
Okay.
And you'll have some really beautiful, fun single-track zigzags up at the top. Kind of leads into a super... I actually, in the summer, it's waist-high grass. In the fall, because I did the course marking last year, all the grass had it wasn't gone. It had just folded over, and it made for, there was really no trail. You just kind of run on top of this grass. It's no big deal, but we'll just put flags in. You just cruise along, and then you just get a little. There's rivet like mountain bikers have carved out a section. You kind of cruise down that, and it's just that's what I was saying. It's 5 different runs in one. You get a mile of this, and then you get a mile of that, and then you get some just beautiful, almost like Mueller Park section where you kind of just cruise through it, and then the last section, the Jace Nye section.
Mm-hmm. That's
exposed. That's the
actual zig.
That's
zag.
the actual zigs and zags. That's where if your name is Scott, you fall down. If your name is Jace, you fall down.
So be careful.
It's yeah. It's not even that technical to say.
It's really
watch out for.
It's a groomed trail.
Yeah, but I think when you go downhill like that, it's steep. It's what is that? 5,000 feet of descent from Bountiful Peak.
Yeah.
So your quads can be tired. So I get why you're not picking your feet up, catch a toe, you go down. So you do need to be careful there.
Okay.
I thought when we created this race that most people would talk about the Great Western Trail climb. They don't. That's the hardest climb, and it's beautiful back there. But the 2 places that people talked about the most were Zigzag coming down and the last stretch in Mueller Park.
Because that zigzag descent beats you up.
Yeah.
You're 50K in, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon or noon, and you're cooking. It's hot, exposed.
When I ran it, I felt good coming down it. I didn't realize that I didn't until I got to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got some food. I met my family at the Zigzag aid station. And then you start to go along Bonneville shoreline. And that's when you realize okay, I am tired.
I've done a lot so far.
Yeah.
Okay, so take us from aid station 4, from Zigzag to Mueller aid station 5.
So this section should be a recovery section, and for whatever reason, it's not. It's a grind. So just be prepared. It's kind of hard. I don't know why. Maybe because it's exposed.
What you've done already.
But you're going along the Bonneville Shoreline Trail, and then you're going along Bountiful Boulevard, paved road, and it's just it's kind of hard.
You got 2 miles of Bountiful Boulevard.
Yeah,
That
a little over that.
probably feels so good on your feet and your legs.
It didn't for me.
Okay.
It was like, I think when I went across that section, I was just like, oh, I'm tired. I really needed to get to Mueller.
Get to Mueller, hit the shade.
Yes.
Food.
When I got to Mueller, and you gave me a sandwich, and I got to hit the shade, like you said, I was a different person.
Yep.
Coming out of there. I got to get back on the beautiful single track trail and all that. So, yeah, it's fine. You're cruising along the city, and it's probably not my favorite part of the race, but it's there, and it's not super difficult, but for me it was. So
Yeah, I would say they're the two easiest miles on the course for sure. It's flat, it's on road. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Get a little break. Like you said, recovery section, hit Mueller Park. Hopefully you have crew and family, maybe a pacer, and a drop bag. So aid station 5, Mueller Park, is like the pinnacle reset. Get some emotional love, some nutrition love, and get your mind right for the last 13, 14 miles. I guess it's 15, the last 15 miles.
Yep.
And so from Mueller aid station 5 to the last aid station, there is a change here. The aid station number 6 is called Summerwood because we made a change.
Yes. So it's still around 10 miles, 9.5 to 10 miles, which is a pretty good. I think you got a couple thousand feet of climbing in there. It's so beautiful. The fall colors are amazing, but it is a grind. You got 10-mile section there until you have 8 again. Instead of having the aid station right along the trail like we've had in the past, we're going to have them turn right and dip down all the way to the road.
So from the trail to the road is how far?
0.4 miles. So just under, call it a half mile. It's close enough.
So a little,
like
a little
0.4
one,
and
a little
some
1
change.
mile out and back.
Yeah. So it's about 300 feet of climbing. And, I mean, we did this for a couple of reasons. One, to make up for some of the climbing we lost having to use chin scraper. And then also, it's really hard to get aid stations up there. It's hard to get volunteers. It's hard to get stuff up there. You can't drive to it.
Yeah, I would say anyone that does 100Ks or 100 milers, for sure, some 50s, but most 100Ks, 100 milers have these little baby out and backs simply for crew access, aid station access. Make sure you have tons of water and supplies. We've actually ran out of water there.
Yeah, we ran out
multiple
last year.
times because it just wasn't easy to get there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we had crew members scrambling to. I mean, yeah, that's something. This is going to be a lot better.
Yep. Before we get too far, who's our aid station captain at Mueller Park?
Elle Jones, our girl. Yeah, this will be her 3rd year as the aid station captain there. We consider this to be the biggest kind of pinnacle aid station, and Elle crushes there. So super excited to have her back.
Very good. Okay, cool. And then they get to the new Summerwood Aid Station 6, and who is aid station captain there?
Very excited to have Knack. Bree will be the aid station captain. Knack's going to be there. They're going to have all of the hydration, the nutrition, take care of our runners there.
But NAC will be all over the course. NAC product will be at every single aid station and the finish line, and they're stepping up and running a really cool aid station.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are not training with NAC, highly recommending NAC. If you read anything, if you follow me on social media, I had a big post about it, how I use NAC in my training, how much I ate and drank for 2.5 days at Tahoe 200. And NAC is just freaking phenomenal, dude. Their hydration is amazing. Their electrolytes, their sodium, they got it dialed, dude. And we will release this very soon, but NAC will add DC Peaks 50 to their website with a nutritional calculator. So you can go in with our mileage and ascent and descent and all this stuff. They do some math to tell you calories and sodium and intake in between each aid station throughout the entire race.
Yeah, that's really cool. We'll put a link on our website. So, okay. And
so you hit aid station 6, say hi to Bree Sullivan and the whole NAC crew, and then you got a little something to the finish line.
Yep, so just climb out of there. I'm hoping for a real race here. Because if the leaders...
Oh, if they're within a half mile of each other, they'll know exactly how far
they're
back
going to know where they're at. That's a new little element to our race.
So how many of those leaders are going to get to the aid station, tap it, and just roll?
Yeah, they're going to... Well, it depends, right?
In, out.
They're gonna be like, that dude, I can catch him. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Tap, in, out. But the leaders, they're pretty elite. I think they'll be fine to do that.
Dude, a little 1 mile out and back, half mile each way with 5 miles to go. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Having the live stream right there at Summerwood, and we'll have someone tail a runner for 5 miles. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
That's going to be fun.
Okay.
So you'll just head right back up, hit the Mueller Park Trail again, and head over towards Wild Rose in North Salt Lake. Here's where it changes.
So you got a third change for this year's course.
Yep.
Okay.
So normally we kind of stayed high on it and went back and above and did some more, even some more climbing, and then came down on the backside of Wild Rose. And it's basically like just you stay on the new trail system. But it puts us over on our mileage. And I'm like, what if we just cut down on the old trail that's always been at Wild Rose? So I went and did it. It's a perfect trail. Mm-hmm. And it got our race right around. It was like 50.03 miles.
Because historically, the last 3 years, our race is coming around 51.5, 52.5.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but
cool.
I mean, with all the changes, that's why I started digging into it a little more. And I'm like, no, let's have this really be as close to a 50 miler as we can.
So they still pop off the trail at the same Wild Rose Park.
Kind of. So the last few years, you come down the trail and run through Wild Rose Park.
Yes, onto the road.
Through their driveway, like their parking lot onto the road. This year, they'll turn right and stay on the actual Wild Rose Trail, and it has a trailhead down on the road all the way at the bottom. So they'll kind of turn right and go straight all the way down.
Lots of little trails in there, a lot of homes and people. So make sure you have the GPX tracker. Make sure you have that. We'll flag it like crazy. Yeah. Make sure you're on those same ones. But
look, just to be real, at the end of the day, if you ran right through it, you're going to the exact same spot.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Okay, awesome. Get to the finish. Get your sunglasses. Get your food. Hang out. Bring your family. Tons of parking. Music. Aid station or food.
Fire pits, depending on what time you finish. Yeah.
Lights. Okay. Anything that we missed? Anything a runner should know preparing and entering DC Peaks 50?
This year, every year up to this point, we've had a check-in the morning of the race. We're not doing that this year. So you will check in to the race the night before. And I don't know how. But they're not going to do it in the morning.
Okay.
Bear 100 sends out a form. Tahoe 200 did nothing.
No.
I mean, you go there and
Tahoe 200, you go there and they give you your tracker.
Yeah.
So they know you're on course.
I mean,
You
Oh, I
carry a
see.
tracker on your pack.
So for ours, we got to come up with a Google form, a form, and send it out and have them just sign it,
Just
saying,
cut that whole part out because I don't know.
well, that's that, of course.
No, the whole you don't have to check in.
Oh,
Because that was me year one, and you were like, "No, we're checking in," and I'm glad we did because then we had a freaking snowstorm and it was a whole thing. You're sure we don't want them to check in race day
we're
morning?
not doing that.
Why?
We missed 8.
Oh, just because we missed them, and it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Because there's no requirement. There's no.
There's a requirement, but it's not. It's just it's hard. It's really hard. Hey, everybody get in a line. Nobody does it.
Yeah, you're right. So, if
So
you,
I like the form going out the night before, but then if they don't sign it,
we don't need that. I think we say if you pick up a bib at packet pickup, or pick up the bib morning of the race,
you're starting.
you're starting. We assume you're on course.
Yeah. If you don't,
It is a DNF.
and you put us through that again, I might DQ you from running this race because that
I'll
caused
DQ
us.
you from running. Period. I'll ban you from ultra sign.
I will Nancy Kerrigan your ass.
To recap, there is no race day check-in. If you get a bib, race morning, or the day before, we're putting you on the starting line and we assume you are there.
Yes.
If you don't make it to the starting line, like the courtesy would be shoot us an email and say I didn't start. That'd be
You
great.
need to tell us
That'd be great.
because
We're counting on you.
we're going to assume you're there, and then if you're not showing up to the aid station, we're going to be calling you.
Yep. Okay, awesome. Anything else besides that? I think we've touched on everything for our pre-race review. Get ready for the Utah's Fall 50.
No, I think we're good.
Okay, well, I want to thank Rockstar one last time. Been sipping on my yellow Rockstar Recovery Hydration Energy Boost 160 milligram caffeine non-carbonated drink all morning during the show.
As you do,
fantastic.
bro.
As I do. And, of course, this has been a really cool and awesome DC Peaks special episode because they're our biggest sponsor. Thank you, DC Peaks. Thank you, Rockstar. If you are not aware, go subscribe and follow us on YouTube. We are posting all of these on YouTube for your visual and audio pleasure. Also, subscribe and follow us online. Love y'all. Thanks for visiting and listening to The Next Aid Station.